What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in to DUSAFARMS. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the best air purifier that I've come across so far with dealing with, the smells. I am a little sick right now, so, of course, I'll be talking about the air purifier now. I need some clean air, got to get the bacteria out of the air, but at the same time, I just harvested, so that video is going to be coming soon. And with that harvest, the smell from trimming, when I tell you guys, I have not had anything. Like, I've seen, shout out to my boy, Green Thumb Canadian over on Instagram. He said he had the same batch, the peyote gorilla. He said he had to leave the room, it was too strong, the smell. He said he had to take a little break, and I'm like, cap, I'm like, yeah, all right. So I was like, let me try it out myself. Let me go ahead, well, I'm already growing it at the point. I was like a month behind him. I get done, and nothing crazy. As soon as I start trimming, gas, I'm like, I have had it. Like, when he said that, I was like trying to push through it, because that's in my head the whole time. I'm like, I'm not leaving the room. Then after a while, I was finding myself making excuses to leave the room. I'm like, oh, my phone. Oh, let me go get a bottle of water. Oh, let me go check the mail. Like, I was finding those excuses for me to leave the room without having to say oh, this is making me leave the room. But just know that stuff was loud. It had the whole house just whew. And my wife is big on that stuff, so I was like, fuck. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm opening windows. I got Fabuloso going, and Fabuloso on the stove. If you don't know, doing that, lighting candles, all windows are up. I got 2 air purifiers, just the little small room ones, from Best Buy, $100 systems. And you would think they would do it. Plus the carbon air filter fans on the tents. So I'm thinking all of this, I should be good. And I'm coming out, I'm still smelling. I'm spraying Febreze everywhere. I'm trying to wash clothes, get that scent boost going. I'm trying to get everything going, right? I want the smell to just go away. I'm like, fuck, my wife's gonna come home. She's gonna tell me, I know, babe, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it under control. So all that said, she comes home hours later, and it's still I was like, fuck. So I got to figure out something. So yeah, all that led me to get this system, and I'm going to talk about the specs of this system. Now, there are other videos out there. You got people like the Hippie Geeks. He does a more in-depth video. He talks about he has an air quality monitor. He tests the molecules in the molecules. He tests the molecules in the air and breaks down that stuff, how it is compared to with it and without it. So I'll have that video tag below in the description, but I'm not going to dive into it too much. Literally, this is all I'm using, and my friends, my friends and the wife, she's big on that stuff. So the noses, as long as the smell's gone, I'm good with that. As far as the molecules in the air, I don't really care. Yes, I am sick right now, and I probably should care, but at the same time, I'm gonna get sick. Just don't bring the pox or the other word over here into the crib, and I'm cool. To go over the specs, I want to talk about it. The size of it. It is a 15 by 15 by 19. Those are all inches. It's gonna have a 4-inch HEPA filter, which you'll only have to replace every 2 years, which is recommended. And then there's gonna be a 1-inch air cartridge, which you have to replace about every 6 months, or you should replace it. And then it's also gonna have wheels, so it is mobile. It's easy to move, and they just slide. Just easy to slide around. It's not that heavy of a system anyway, but the wheels do make it convenient. Everything could use wheels. If my DWC buckets had wheels, that'd be awesome. That's actually an idea. It's gonna have 4 power settings ranging from 5 if you count the off, but off, wisp air, low, medium, and high. And on those settings, the air intake, the cubic feet per meter are going to be 85, 150, 200, and 250. And they say it's able to efficiently treat up to 1,000 square feet, and it's able to exchange that air 3 to 5 times per hour. Now, those are the most important specs to me. There's tons of other, and some people may really want to nerd out and dive into it more, which, like I said, there are other videos covering that. But when I talk about the review, the cost. Now, the cost, like I said, it's $700. It is expensive. They do have the pay in full or pay over time, whatever, with the afterpay or Affirm or whatever. And that can come in handy. You only have to pay less than $100 per month or whatever. But some people may not even want to, pay that. But me, like I said, I have a $1,500 vacuum, and I went from the Dyson, which is $500. And there was a huge difference. I can go over my vacuum cleaner, and I could use the Dyson several times, blah, blah, blah. And then I would get that $1,500 system, go over it, and it's still picking up dirt after the Dyson. A lot more dirt. So it tells you, you see the price, and I'm just $500 from vacuum for me was enough, let alone $1,500. But the wife, that's what she wants, so we get it, and it definitely paid off. It does way more than just vacuum, but that type of stuff is just a huge difference. So I was going from 100 to 700, it's got to be a big difference, and it definitely is. Now, I'm not going to say you need it. There are tons of other ways. There's cheaper ways to go about it. It's just me personally, I needed to control it now. I have to control it. I can't be out here, trying a million different things. Hey, this person says this works. People told me opening your windows and you'd be good. People told me, lighting candles would be good. People told me just get a regular air filter. Turn up your carbon air filters in your, your room. You'll be good. none of that works. Like if you're trying to keep it in the tent, but I'm not in the tent and I'm out in the room. Like if you hop in your tent with your plants and trim them in there and you got the, the air intake going in there, you're probably going to be good. But me, I don't have that luxury. Like I'm in a room and it's expelling everywhere. But, so the cost, I will say it's worth the cost. Like I won't sit here and say it's not worth it. I do acknowledge it is fairly expensive. Like the common person isn't just going to go drop $700 on that. Like you would rather go drop $700 on a new setup, a new light, a whole bunch of beans, a cut or something like that, let alone, some people don't have to control it. But for those that do, I would say, like, I'm not going to recommend anybody go spend $700 on anything. That's up to you. I have plenty of people I know that have bought it, and they're the ones that recommended it to me. Now, the setup and use, it's fairly easy. Like, this thing is, like, super easy. It comes together. You just slap the pieces together. You slap your air cartridge in there, your actual HEPA filter in there. You got a little sliding back door for yourself to put the filters in. And then from there, extension cord, plug it in, turn it on, whatever setting you want to put, and you're good. Now with those settings, each of them, there's decibels, there's a different loudness for each one. Like the whisper is going to be really nothing, low, medium, high. They're going to work their way up and get louder and louder. Like if I could give a reference for the sound, I would say I would compare it to something like your actual carbon filter fan that you may have in your tent going right now. Like if you got that thing turned up to max power, it makes some sound, right? Or if you like a box fan, like you got the box fan turned up, it's about like that. It could be more, it could be less. I'm not, there's actual tests out there where they tested. I think it's like 64 decibels. For anybody that, wants to go into that, there's tons of other videos that break down that, and they actually test the sound. They test the actual air quality of it so they can really break it down. But the last one I want to talk about, the most important one, like I said, it does work. But how well it works, man, this thing works great. Like I won't sit here and sugarcoat it. Like I needed this bad. And when I talk about the last one, I want to talk about the odor. Like the odor, when I tell you that, like I told you, I had the peyote gorilla, that seed to harvest videos coming out, but I've never had something it made me make excuses to leave the room. Not like I was trying to be all like, my pride, like, nah, this ain't gonna make me leave the room, blah, blah, blah. But it was like you hotboxing, you want to break the seal. That's how loud this stuff was. And this did a great job. Like I can go in there right now, I can open, I can smoke next to it, it's gonna absorb it, whatever. Like, or you know what I'm saying, you could just turn it up high real quick if you just smoked or whatever. You don't want to have it going while maybe you're shooting a video and you're smoking during the video or something like that. You just don't want to have that sound going next to you or whatever, or you just want to have it on the whisper, but then you want to get rid of it quickly. You could literally turn that thing to full blast. You got company come over in an hour or two, they're going to come over, they're not going to smell nothing. Like I'm telling you, I go in there and trim plants, turn that thing up. The wife, usually she'll be like, I can smell it. She'll text me right away. Like, I can smell it. Or she'll come knocking on the door, like, babe, open a window or turn something on, spray something, light a candle. Or I'll come out and I already see she's lighting candles and opening windows, right? With this, I come in the room. The only thing she smells is me now. She's like, oh, you smell like weed. I'm like, you didn't smell it at all while I was in there? She's like, no, I walked right by. I went to the laundry room. I didn't smell anything. I was like, this thing worked. But that's going to be my overall review of it. Like I said, I personally love it. I think it's great. I think it's worth it. I mean, it's going to be worth it to me. Anything for free is going to be worth it. But it was worth it enough to make this video and tell everybody about it. And I'm not going to recommend any of you guys get it and like tell you guys you have to get it, but at the same time, I'm not gonna like, if you ask me does it really work, like yes, it really works. And do your research before you make any crazy big purchases. Like really dive into it. Like I've fallen victim plenty of times of just like buying something because somebody else said it and I get it, and it's like that's not it. It's like some people are gonna lie about some things, and this is not one of the things I'm lying about. I don't want anybody to waste their money. But get ready, because I was talking about some stuff, the smell I had to get rid of. That seed to harvest video is coming, and if you want to check it out early, go ahead and make sure you check out the Patreon. Link is going to be in the bio. Sign up for that. You don't have to do all that stuff. Support the channel, shopdusa.com, buy merch, all that cool stuff. Get a beanie for your head or whatever. But that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you stay tuned for that type of stuff, and until next time, guys, peace.